wanna blame this loss on our parent company, Three Beers Media.
Yes.
Yes. Shipley text us. Well, hold on. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it verbatim because I don't want to mess up what he said. So he said, what was it? Okay, you don't have to be. Oh, he said someone called Mike Nurse and tell him he doesn't have to be scared anymore. We killing tech. And so that was at 8:09 my time, 09 Eastern or Central, and we were up 23.
At that precise moment.
And then I said, whoa, early ship, and then he said, LOL. And Pfizer said, well, damn, because then he said my fault. So he thinks of that because then he said he needed to throw up. So we laughed at him for that one. He just we'll get into that. We ain't even did our introduction, though. We already going in. Y'all already know who it is. Marcus don't get his camera here fixed, but we got the audio, so we good. But welcome to another episode of Side of the Storm, featuring George Trice, Brent Curvey, and Marcus Pfizer. Brought to you in conjunction with Three Beers Media as our parent corporation, Brown Dogs Farms, Hot Sauce and Spicy Ranch, and then Rebel 10 Distillery. So we appreciate them supporting us. I know we had about 200 or so downloads and views on our YouTube. So we appreciate y'all checking us out. But it's like hard to start. I didn't even normally I'm always prepared for these. And I did not prepare anything because I didn't know how this conversation was going to go. So I'm not going to do our normal thing, but I am going to start off by just saying I'm going to share a picture real quick. And I just want to shout out this young man, Anthony Johnson Jr. So Anthony went out to LA last weekend. I couldn't make it because I had to go to Louisville for a birthday party for my cousin. My first cousin turned 40. So I went to his party, but Toya Younger out of the student office, VP of the student office, student affairs, she went down there and she sent me some pictures. Seneca was out there. She sent me a picture of her and Seneca chilling. But Anthony went out to this game, invited by the NFLPA, and to play, to see what he had. And I don't know if I'm stepping out of bounds because I was looking for the news, but I didn't see anything. But he was told that he did enough in practice the week before that he didn't have to play in the game and got an invite to the combine. And so I want to shout him out for that. Nice. He did have to play because the two corners ahead of him that did play, they got hurt. So they did have to end up suited up and playing. But he didn't have to because he has an invite. So right now he's down in Texas. I text him to see if he wanted to jump on with us, but he got a lot of stuff going on down in Texas, getting ready for this combine. So, much love to him. Getting that invite is a big thing. And I say that because I called a couple NFL players and agents on his behalf because of the year he had last year. And I got feedback on them, good and indifferent, nothing bad. Just knew he had to work. So young man, this is your opportunity to work and show what you can do. You had a good breakout year, your last year at Iowa State. But in the league, it's the next level. And, you got a lot ahead of you. And whatever support you need, young man, we got you. So shouts out to you, Anthony Johnson Jr. and your family, because you getting this shot. You all got to listen to the story about this young man and how he grew up. And I think I talked about it in one of our other episodes that he sent his stipend home to his mom every month. So he never kept, and he kept just enough that he needed, but he sent a majority of it because of the situation that his mom and the rest of his siblings were in. And so he's just a humble, great young man, and I want to do everything I can to support him. I'm probably going to do something at the golf event, like a 50-50 raffle, and that will go to him. I'm not going to keep that, but I want to do that and support him and then take up another donation to get him the things that he needs. Maybe try to find a pair of custom Trice Legacy cleats, maybe do something, maybe Nike, Nike might listen to this. Nike, we need you to listen to this, but yeah, shouts out to you, young man. Keep doing what you do. Let us know what you need from us. So did want to shout him out there. And I know it's basketball season, but how do you have the potential rookie of the year running back in Brees Hall from Iowa State? The rookie quarterback of the year, like coming in last pick of the draft, winning 5 in a row regular season, winning a playoff game, and then he gets hurt tearing his UCL. And it's you look at that and you see that, you're like, oh shit, is this really happening? This kid was doing his thing and this happens. And first opinion, Tommy John surgery. That's what the pictures, the way his elbow went and tearing a UCL, Tommy John surgery. He's actually, I think earlier today, he was getting a second opinion on trying to have not a Tommy John surgery, but a different kind of surgery that will get him back quicker. But it just sucks that we had 2 of the top, players in the NFL draft playing this year, and they both get hurt. But Brock, if he does get the Tommy John, that puts some potentially at July to come back at the beginning of training camp, but more likely like August. But Trey Lance is, he was almost 100%. So Jimmy Garoppolo is free agency, and he's going to exercise his free agency. So then is what do you do with this team? Because we were talking about Brock going and leading this team, but with him being hurt, coming back, there is speculation that there's one of 2 things that could possibly happen in this year. And hold on, Mike Nurse text me. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. He said, I don't know what that means. We're going to call him in a minute. But you have Brady, then you got Aaron Rodgers. Brady's on his way out. California kid, might be his last year in the league. Can come home, play 1 year, let Trey and Brock, learn up under him. Because I think Trey and Brock's contract together is like $10 million. That is nothing compared to the salary cap in the NFL. So they got 2 quarterbacks that they can keep on there, bring in a Rodgers or something like that, or Brady for a year. The only thing about that is, Kittle has said that he wants stability. He wants a quarterback that's stable. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. But we all know that Brady uses his tight ends. Gronk, how he likes tight ends. So I know Kittle would be happy about that. So what do y'all think about, about these kind of options or things?
I mean, NFL free agency is wild, man. I don't know if I'm San Fran, if I'm spending money on Brady, though. I know Purdy is kind of in a terrible situation in the sense that, he has to fully recover, and that's going to kind of kill his offseason. So,
yeah,
I think that's going to, because he got hurt, I think, and the way he played, that's going to kind of guarantee him a spot, a safe space in San Fran. But I don't know if you bring a Tom Brady or a Aaron Rodgers out there. Brady, I guess, more so than Aaron, because I just hear too many crazy things about Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know how well he'll get along with with the OC and whoever else calls the plays out there. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. That's a tough situation to be in.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate news about Brock. That's definitely devastating. But him and to speak on him and Brees Hall, at least they got the chance to show their talent and show what they can do. And essentially, they both have similar injuries. One's in the knee and one's in the elbow. But it's still both severe injuries. And typically, once that's repaired, players come back a lot stronger. Because now you can get your arm stronger, you can get that joint stronger, you get the ligament stronger, and all of that. It's definitely not a situation we foreseen. We were very excited the week before. But I knew it was something severe, for him to be taken out and not coming back in, and then the performance he gave after he was able to come back in, or he was forced to come back in because of the concussion to the forget the other quarterback name, but man, it's a lot to consider. I didn't know the idea or the option was on the table maybe for a Brady.
Mhm.
I don't know what he would be commanding salary wise, anything like that, but it's not a bad idea. When you think about if he's going to be there a year or year or two or whatever, and to
Yeah.
have the young guys below him to continuously learn. I mean, that's the without a doubt the MJ of NFL football. Like
100%.
that guy knows that position. He knows how not to get hit. He's as slow as a Coke machine, but he's gonna do what he got to do to be effective. And man, he knows that pocket like it's a phone booth. So to have those type guys in front of you, to have that guy in front of you while you continuing to learn. Brock is not going to be able to do anything for the meantime. It's going to take a lot, a rehab to come back from that. But I'm not too against that. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, we've heard so much about him, good and bad. We know the talent and the arm strength and everything that he has. But he's getting on up there in age too. I think he wants to play a few more years. So we'll see what happens. But with that organization, we've heard about the Shanahans, the way they run the organization and yada yada yada. We're not trying to bring in nobody that's going to mess up the locker room. People don't understand
Mhm.
how key that is. To
Yep.
have a cancer in the locker room, no matter who the player is, can definitely derail everything. And they had a fighting chance this year. Brock got hurt, and if you think they're not going to build on that going into next year, you're sadly mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting off season for the 49ers, but they have a nice core that would lend to whatever veteran quarterback comes to teach the young guy, especially with Garoppolo leaving. You got these two guys that can absorb like a sponge and and gain from them. So it's going to be interesting what we get there. How they bounce back from this. But I'm looking forward to it. I was hoping that it was going to be a hometown boy coming home in a couple of weeks for the Super Bowl because I'm like 15 minutes away from the stadium, and I'm also a volunteer captain, so I'll be at the Super Bowl experience. Down there.
Okay.
So I'm captaining the Super Bowl experience, which is held at the convention center. So like, the Lombardi Trophy, some of the rings, people can do the passing drills and, get to see some things out there. But then on Friday and Saturday, I'm actually at the PJ, hangar. So I'll be at the private jet hangar from 12 to 6 on Friday and Saturday. So maybe I get to see some people come in. I'm gonna try to wear make a logo, put on a shirt for our podcast, so people ask me questions, and then we just go from there.
Yeah, there you go.
We got some people coming through, so let's see what we can do about that. Like Marcus said, that Joe Budden money, but Marcus,
we on the way.
I want to go further than that. I want that Joe Rogan money. I done heard that dude was like $100 million.
Yeah,
Like
crazy.
$100 million.
Crazy.
And people didn't really know him as a UFC fighter. They knew him as a commentator, but they didn't really know that he was a fighter. But now his podcast, man, listened all around the world, 100 million.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
There wouldn't be any complaints on this side.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. So we want to get these numbers up. So again, thanks Rebelton, thanks Brown Dog Farms for supporting us. I actually, so I didn't tell you yet, Brent, but I'm going to be in Iowa the weekend of February 24th. Got to do some things for the nonprofit at night, and I'm gonna try to go to that Oklahoma game. OU basketball game is that Saturday the 25th.
Okay.
But I'm being there that time, so I'm gonna make sure I come through and see you while I'm there. But
sure.
That's are you gonna be around, or are you gonna be out of town?
I'm here.
Okay.
Nope, I'll be gone that weekend before, so that's perfect.
No doubt. Yeah. So I'm gonna come through for that. Get some things taken care of for this event. We got three sponsors right now. We got 3 teams signed up, and it's early. So we got plenty of time to get people out there and people signed up. And so listeners and viewers, if you keep seeing me look away, I'm actually looking at my phone because I'm trying to get this special guest on, but I don't know if it's gonna be able to happen today. So if it does, we'll go back to football. If this person comes on, I'm not gonna even tell y'all who it is yet. I'm gonna surprise y'all. You know how I like to do that. But it is time to pivot. Who wants to start?
Here we go.
Who wants to start this conversation? It's like, so I got the Lakers game on in the back. So, and I got my Cleveland on because Cleveland is a city. Not that I'm not repping Iowa State right now. It's just what I was wearing today, and I just happened to have it on. Because I was gonna have the Kansas game on because I'm trying to see Kansas go down. So I don't know. I didn't see that game on the TV. It might be on ESPN Plus, but I didn't see it on the TV. But I think they play tonight, right? KU. I just need them to keep losing.
I'm not sure.
I just need them to keep losing. But what we gonna talk about? Marcus, I'm gonna start with you.
Express yourself. Get it out, Marcus.
Do we want to call Mike Nurse before you talk, Marcus? Do we want to bring Nurse in? Did we lose Marcus? We might have lost him.
Man.
Well, while we getting him back, we gonna call Mike Nurse and see he gonna start cussing as soon as he get on. Marcus, you out there?
Hello?
Nurse.
Hello?
Marcus, Nurse. Nurse, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, what up?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Life, pursuit.
Pursuit of happiness. So last time we talked to you, you were a changed man, or you tried to lead us to believe that you were a changed man.
Are you insinuating that I'm
no, Michael, I did not insinuate anything. I'm just asking you, are you still on that same path?
Yeah, I still know my mom.
Okay, I mean, I'm glad you know her. We lost Marcus on here. When we told him we were calling you, he kind of like just disappeared and ghosted us.
I mean, I understand that.
Yeah. So we wanted to bring you on. We got another guest I'm gonna call here in a minute. So are you around? You got about, oh man, we lost Marcus now. You got about can we call you back in like 10 minutes?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
What kind of foolishness is this?
You know what? All right, hold on. Never mind. I'm gonna add a person to this call. Hold on.
I'm a family man, you know. It's
do nothing.
It's 9:50.
Okay. And what you got to do?
A family man. Be a family man.
Family man. All right. Okay. Well then, hold on. Let me call this. Let me dial another friend in real quick, and add a call. Let's see. Let's dial this number here real quick, and I'm gonna surprise everybody on here. So listeners, you are in for a treat.
It's a little ambushy.
It is. But we're gonna see what's going on. I hope they don't say their name when they jump on. Hello.
George, hello. How are you, sir?
Getty, what's up?
How are you?
Not
Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you too.
Oh man, the legend.
So
the GOAT.
We are calling you live. We record on tonight and we release our podcast tomorrow. But on the line with me on the camera, I got Brent Curvey and Marcus Pfizer.
How are you guys? How are you guys doing?
Man, good, Coach. How about yourself?
It's been way too long. Been really too long.
And then also, sir, on the phone with you, we got Michael Nurse actually on the phone line as well.
How about that? Good to hear from you guys. So it's been, like I said, I apologize. It's been so long, but I've missed y'all greatly.
Yeah, so my story about Getty is I didn't play with the boys because I was about 6 inches too small and about 70 pounds light. But I tried to bulk up, so I went to Getty, and because of who I was, he was able to get me a workout plan. It worked for a little while. Then I got mad at how tough it was. But but I appreciate that. I know you're doing your thing for the past 16 years at Air Force.
Yes, sir. We just finished season 16. Yep.
Season 16. Yeah, you left Iowa State in 07. And so but it's good to hear from you. So we do this podcast. We got Mike Nurse on here because we're gonna talk about basketball here in a minute. But we're talking about the fact that how tough it was to play down at Texas Tech for basketball. But we started off this episode. We were just talking about, the Brees Hall getting injured last year, and then Brock Purdy with his UCL and that Tommy John potential surgery. And we just wanted to get you on there as a strength and conditioning coach. And we just want to know what you thought these two guys need to do and to get ready for next year, to get back from these injuries and just be prepared and mentally, physically, and just get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, well, that's one I don't have a lot of experience with. That that UCL injury obviously is more of a baseball injury, and that and then obviously the Tommy John surgery. If it does, now what I've read, they're still in the point of evaluating it.
Yeah.
The only thing I can tell you from a strength standpoint, if they end up, whether it be a rehab, which you hope he can do the rehab only without having to have the repair. If he does have the repair, I do think it's probably a better for a quarterback, even though you're still a throwing athlete, it's going to be a better rehab and a better result than it would be obviously a pitcher. That's a tough thing to come back from for a pitcher, just because of the amount, obviously the repetition and the velocity, and that the amount of the amount of force that goes through that elbow joint. But I think today's day and age, the only thing I've never had to deal with, quite honestly, in a football player, because it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen in the game of football. And how, you kind of see how that with him, just the freak nature of how he was injured. But I do think that obviously the 49ers they trained here for a week. So before they wanted to come to altitudes, they trained here at the academy for a week, and then played in Mexico City on that Monday night against the Cardinals. So they were here for a week. So I did get to, their staff is outstanding, and they'll do a great job getting him back. But it's just going to be the mindset of, he'll attack it. He'll attack the rehab and focus on getting that back. And I don't doubt, like I said, that it will be an easier rehab, even for a quarterback, than it would for a high-level pitcher.
Okay, makes sense. No, we appreciate that analysis. Yeah, it's just trying to figure out what that would look like, and and it is the mental part. It's the mental part of getting back out there after getting through that. And Marcus, Marcus on here, so we got you back now. So Marcus is back with us. So
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You was muted for a minute, but we got you back. You must have switched back to the Mac.
Good. Yeah, I got back on the Mac.
So Getty on here talking. You hear Getty on here talking right now.
What's going on, legend?
How are you, sir? Good to hear your voice.
You as well. I'm doing well out here in Vegas, trying to raise these kids and teach some of that hard work, toughness that you taught us.
Man.
Well, they're in good hands. They are in good hands.
Yeah. So Getty, you got any stories about Marcus or Brent or Nurse that you want to share with the fans? We don't got a lot of listeners, but we got enough. But we want to know.
Well, so here I got a couple, right? So those guys. So here's the deal. So Coach Eustacia came over and came over to the weight room, and he came up into the office and said, do you have a minute? I said, Coach, yeah, how can I help you? Well, he said, I want our guys to train with you, with the football team. And I said, Coach, they're welcome to. I said, as long as if you talk to Coach Mack and he okays it, they're more than welcome to. And then I said, but here's the thing now, they're going to have to do it our way. you know, and we're not, you know, it's going to be the hard way, the right way, right?
Right.
So there was a few that they only lasted for a few hard ones stayed for a long time. So those guys stayed the course, and they became part of us, you know, honestly. It was an honor to have them and work with them, and then the thing I took pride in, right, was just seeing them work every day behind the scenes in the dark, and then you go over there to Hilton Coliseum and watch and see what they do on that court, right? So you took a certain amount of pride in that, hey, these guys were, the way they worked, the mentality they had, and how they went about their business. But then you saw them, you know, those guys were playing at a high level and had a lot of success. But so we took pride in that. I took pride in that. But that's kind of how that evolved. Here's the Curvey story.
Oh man.
So, and I can't remember. Gosh, I think it might have been Baylor. I can't remember the opponent, but old Curve was getting a little worn down in the series, right? He was out there, he was getting after it, got a little worn down. So he comes over to the sideline and he's kind of bent down on his hands and knees. I said, Curve, you got to get up and get ready. You got to get up, stand tall, and get ready. And he goes back in the game, and there's a ball knocked loose, and who picks that ball up and goes 75 yards? But Curvey. On the exact next play.
That's what the big
that's the rest of the story right there. And I'll remember that like it was yesterday. But you know, it was an honor to coach. It was an honor to coach you. It was an honor to watch you play. You know, and again, I can't express how much it meant to me to be able to be part of that process.
You can't see him, Getty, but he over here smiling. He
Man, yeah, man.
Yeah,
I remember that too. Yeah, couldn't let Getty.
Who was that? Can you remember who was that? Who was that? Was that Baylor? Who was that?
That was Baylor. We were down in Texas.
Yeah, how about that?
We were in Waco.
We getting Coach Mack on here too, Getty, but we were going to get him on here for episode, but it was the episode we recorded the week that Florida got all that weather, and so he couldn't get on with us. So he listens to us, so he's still trying to get on with us. I saw him at I was back for Reggie's Hall of Fame induction. So Reggie wanted us all there. So we talked to Coach when we were there, and then you know Reggie and some of the other guys, Stevie Johnson came back for it. Some of those other cats came back, and so we just hung out there. And it had a good time, man. But we know we appreciate these stories. That's one of the things that we love about this podcast is because it's their family everywhere still. We want to hear these things, and that's why Mike Nurse is kind of quiet on there on the line because we gonna get him on here in a minute. But I don't know if he survived or not, or if he's one of the people that bent over and threw up after doing all that work. But we appreciate it. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got family time. I took you around, but I didn't know if you wanted to say anything else out here before we let you go. And then I'm gonna keep in touch with you now that I got your number and everything. But I mean, we just wanted to get you on real quick and and get a little bit of insight from you. But I don't want to keep you too long. Get back to the family.
No, it's good talk. It's good talking to you. Like I said, I appreciate y'all. I'm proud of y'all. And, I'm glad. It was just an honor to be part of your process and to be able to watch you guys play and perform as athletes, and now, and to do what you're doing now is even greater. So appreciate you having me on, and I hope I don't hurt your ratings too much, but it's been an honor. And please keep in touch. If there's anything I can ever do, never hesitate, please. Okay.
Always. Thanks, Getty. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
You guys take
Appreciate
care.
You, Coach.
Yep. Have a great night.
You too.
Appreciate you guys. Take care.
All
Bye-bye.
Right. Bye. I think Nurse just hung up.
See, Getty was nice. He didn't tell you the bad stories, but I'm thankful though. Look, I appreciate him for it.
Man.
I appreciate him for it.
Yeah, I thought go ahead, Mark.
He ain't tell you the stories about how you used to sit that pencil on your chest and you can't break that pencil. And I kept.
Yeah, you dropped off, man. We had Getty on here. You dropped off.
Huh?
We had Matt Getty on here. You dropped off.
No, you never came back to me. I was over here on I think hold for like 2 minutes.
Oh, I don't know how to work my phone. I thought I hit add call. I guess I must have not.
Yeah,
hit.
but the first thing you do is blame me.
You know what, Mike? I'm sorry, man. I apologize.
Like, but that was your
Because
first.
normally it's your fault. Normally it's your fault.
That was your first order of business. It was like, yo, it's your fault.
Do you have a drink?
Even though
you have a drink in your hand?
Who? He
I
doesn't
don't.
drink anymore.
What? Oh yeah, he doesn't drink anymore. New Mike, right? He still knows his mom, Marcus.
I don't like what
You don't like what?
I don't like where this is going.
Well, we called you because we wanted to, you called it. You said that going down to Lubbock and playing at Texas Tech was different than playing them at home at Hilton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Now, I would like to also state I did not call us being up by 23 points in the second half and losing. I didn't call that. I was worried about being blown out.
Okay.
That's worse than a
Yes,
blowout.
we got blown out in the second half.
We did get blown out in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, the last two games we lost by a total of 5 points between two games. That's kind of like our football season this year. We never lost by like more than a touchdown except for like one game. Like it was always a one-score game and everything. And then for them to come back 23 points, take us to overtime, and then win by 3. But what happened?
I'd rather get blown out.
Yeah.
Boy,
So
what?
So what happened? How do we bounce back from this, Mark? How do we bounce back?
I mean, once we got up 23 in the second half, it's literally time to excuse me. It's literally time to lock in defensively and time and score. Like we're not trying to shoot no logo threes. We understand this is the Big 12, and closing out these games are tough. It's straight running the shot clock down, until under 5 seconds, pretty much before you get a shot, unless it's a wide open shot really, really quick in the paint or something like that. Other than that, you really have to bog down, time and score, and just take the air out of the ball. And when you're on the road and you give them any kind of momentum, I mean, even Marcus Jr. texted me last night like, y'all was up 20. How y'all lose that lead? And I'm like, dude, I'm watching the game. He was like, yeah. He was like, I was watching a different game at first. I forgot the game was on. He said, then, I looked and saw y'all was up 23. So I was like, I'm not even going to watch it. They blowing them out because Pop Isaacs, who plays for Texas Tech, he played with him last year in high school. So, of course, we watch, when he's playing for Texas Tech and they playing Iowa State. So, he was like, y'all was up by 23. So I was like, I'm not even worried about it. He said, then we was watching the other game and you see the bottom line, they was down by 3. I was like, what the hell? And, the rest is history. So it's a bad situation. I just kept on thinking about Mike Nurse talking about we don't want to go down there to Lubbock, and that's what happened.
Mike?
Well, you know what the worst the worst thing is? I didn't even get to watch the game.
Okay.
I was out and didn't get to watch the game. And then as soon as I got home, I sat down and I get the ESPN final score. Texas Tech 80, Iowa State 77 overtime. And then I go to see what happened. How did we get to that point? And how we got to that point is historic comeback by Texas Tech. And I said, historic? Well, let me look a little further. And it says, yeah, Iowa State was up 23 points. Texas Tech comes back and sends the game into overtime. And I'm just like, that's outrageous.
Yeah.
There's only a certain amount of possessions in a half.
Right.
Right. The shot clock is at 30. It's 30-second shot clock. Right. So if you really think about it, in 20 minutes, how many possessions is that for your offense? If you just take the ball and just hold on to it and just take shot clock violation. If you just did that, a team can't come back on you because that's how many possessions in a half. And I know no one's going to do that because that's
not bad.
That's extreme.
Right.
Right. But that's extreme. But that looks like what we should have did. Obviously, we didn't go back just last year when we scored like 30-something points in Lubbock. We scored 30-something points.
Yeah.
That was in a game.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like we should have been like, and I know that's it's not the same team. It's not. Because that team, that Texas Tech team last year was just unbelievable defense.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, like I don't know. To give that up, you have to be complicit.
Yeah.
Like I remember when we were down 24 against Oklahoma with it was George Niang's teams. You know, Monte Morris, Nazir Long, Thomas. Right? And they got a technical foul for talking shit. And then that sparked the comeback. And we came back from 24 down and won the game. But you have to be complicit in that situation. You can't just no team is just gonna come back from 24 down in the second half, right? No team is gonna be able to do that. I don't care who you have on that team. The other team has to help. And that's has to be what happened. We had to have helped along with the situations via turnover, bad shot, or whatever.
It's funny you say that. So we had 17 turnovers in that game to their 8. And then the other thing is we had 28 fouls to their 15. They took 37 free throws and made 26 of 37, where we took 21 and made 12. So we were 57% where they were 70% from the line, but they also took 16 more shots than us. And they made 14 more than us. If we wouldn't have fought, did we get tired? Were we tired? Because we were complacent, but were we tired? Because the end of the game was sloppy. What was there?
Well, I mean, to get tired is like what Mike says, like you're doing something to help them. Mm-hmm. It's not like they were pressing extremely hard. Like once you get the ball across half court, then we got 20 seconds left. Then we're going to set up a play and figure out how to move this thing around the horn and take some of that time off the clock. Yeah. And by not doing that, taking too many threes or quick shots or, unless we didn't get not one offensive rebound in the rest of that time, then it makes no sense. Because I'm sure we got an offensive rebound, and instead of now this is my reward, we see this 23-point lead dwindling down. Now I'm going to kick the ball out, and we're going to hold it and let some of this time come off again, and we're going to run the play to make them more tired because now we're controlling the pace. If we're not controlling the pace, then what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things happened in my mind. So Caleb Grill, he had an extra 9 seconds on the clock, and he threw up I don't know what shot that was at the end of the game.
I saw it.
Yeah, we still had 9 seconds left on the play clock, and he threw something up. So it kind of was like desperation at the end. But also, I mean, you talk about Asunye. Clasher was our top rebounder with 7 rebounds for the game, 3 offensive and 4 defensive. Why is the guard? The guard is down there playing harder than our center. Now I know you got something to say about this one, Marcus. I mean, the big man getting out rebounded by his guard.
Right. I took huge offense to things like that. Like me and Stevie Johnson and Paul Shirley and Martine Ransom, of course, we're the, even when me and Stevie was out there, we're playing 4 and 5, definitely undersized. But you weren't getting too many rebounds. Having somebody like Stevie down there with me, and I'm kind of out of position or kind of putting myself out of position because he's going to get it. That gives me the opportunity to run. But I knew I had, if Stevie wasn't rebounding worth anything, then my opportunities to run weren't going to be there, and vice versa. So we got to get that into the game plan. You got to limit their shots on the boards. You have to go and crash the boards and get it. I mean, there were times where if we didn't get the rebound, then we're fouling. You're not going to get a wide open break. Those are the things that, that bothers me for someone. This kid, his athletic ability is off the chart. He have a huge wingspan. He gets off the ground. He has to put himself in position. I think last year he averaged eight or 9 rebounds a game. So to come to the Big 12, we look for that same transition to carry over. We're not getting that right now. And against a team like Texas Tech, they were desperate, hadn't won a game in the conference. They had some early success in the year, but, getting down to the Big 12, they hadn't won a game, and now they got their first win. Look how we started off last year. This can be, that pivotal moment for them, because just because they hadn't won don't mean they're not a good team. How deep we went into the NCAA tournament last year was because of how strong and tough the conference is, and you just can't let that happen. Those are the wins that we absolutely need.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It's hard. It's a hard one. It's a hard one to because of the way we played against K-State, when we played against Texas, and even the way we looked when we played against Kansas. Even though we lost that game, we still looked pretty good in that game. We've been playing good ball until these last 2 weeks against Missouri and Texas Tech, and in both those games, I believe. So the Missouri game, we were playing from behind, and that looked like last year's team. We played from behind a lot last year to come, and it's an uphill battle for that. And that's why we got beat the way we did against Missouri. This Texas Tech, we got tired. And so KU just beat K-State by 12. The game is final, the 90-78, and we play them on Saturday. And we lost by 2 points to them before. We beat K-State. They beat K-State and they beat us. So this is kind of that tiebreaker type game for Big 12. So it's gonna be, a hard game. Luckily we are at home. We got the Hilton Magic behind us for that, but we got to show something, because the way we've kind of been teetering these last 2 weeks. Mike, what else you got to say?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm worried about the Kansas game.
Okay.
Because one thing I've learned about Kansas, in particularly Bill Self, and why he has such longevity with his program. I mean, just think about it. Like, Roy Williams couldn't do what this guy was doing. Roy Williams was a god there.
Right.
Yep.
Right? This guy always wins the conference.
Yep.
Always wins the regular season conference. People think that everybody, people have caught up with him, caught up with Kansas, like the Baylors. Baylor wins the national championship. They had an incredible team. You got Texas, who was constantly overrated. Texas Tech was up there for a little, but the team that's always there and has always been there since I was in school is Kansas, right? So this is what happened to us last year. We probably should have won at Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
There was a goaltend that wasn't called, could have changed the game. There was a funky layup at the end of that game, right? And Kansas won. But what happened when they came to Ames? They came to Ames and took care of business, right? I've seen it a lot. I've seen it when the Niang teams, you know, with Hoiberg's teams, Kansas, when they come to Ames, they know that that's an atmosphere. They know that's a big game. There's no sneaking up on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter what. And they come and they play well.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about this game. Where our egos are hurt after losing to the last place team, being up by 23.
Being their first win in the
You know,
conference.
Right.
Giving them their first win in the conference, you know, and then on top of that, just the mystique of Kansas.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
you know, we got a lot of guys that hadn't played Kansas, right?
True.
You know, so the mystique of Kansas, because you growing up, Midwest is all about Kansas.
Yeah, I get that.
Right? They're always on TV. They're always in the talk. You know, they're always in the tournament. You know, what's your mindset? You know what I'm saying? The first game we played against Kansas, the first game I played against Kansas, that Kansas team wasn't very good. It wasn't a good Kansas team by any stretch of the imagination. You know, and the mystique of playing at Kansas, I'm not saying it affected me, but it was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's there. And then later on in the season, we beat Kansas. That was our Super Bowl.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Holy shit, we beat an unranked Kansas. Like, I don't think people realize it. Like, Kansas wasn't even ranked.
First time in a while, huh?
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Kansas wasn't even ranked, and we might as well, after that game, we might as well have pulled it out and jacked off all of
Hey, whoa, hey, I mean, I feel what you're saying.
I mean, whipped it out.
on the dance floor in tips with it hanging out. And saying, hey girl.
I don't think you're grasping the situation. This was an unranked Kansas team. And I just said it. Not very good, not a very good Kansas team at that.
Yeah. So let me bring
I think they finished fifth. I think they finished fifth that year in the Big 12.
Okay.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
That was not a very good Kansas team. And I'm telling you,
but it was Kansas, and you beat them. It was Kansas.
But it was Kansas, and we beat them at home. And we only beat them by 2. But we beat them at home.
But you was whipping dicks out. I get it. I get it.
It was all over the court. Penises. There was penises everywhere.
Says taking a turn, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
hey, brought to you by Revelton and Brown Dog Farm.
Oh man.
3 Beers Media Production. Call them if you have any questions. So hold on, I'm gonna pause you, Mike. So I'm gonna bring you in, Brent. And as you look at from a football standpoint, but from a period of being an athlete and losing 2 games the way you lose 2 games, and then to come back to to one of your big opponents, what's going through your mind?
I mean, we're back at home, so it's that, you know, protect this house mentality. Okay. So you kind of got to flush the old shit away and get ready for something new. So, you know, they have enough film now to figure out what they did wrong. Looks like we sucked from behind the stripe too, from the free throw line, from what I've seen. So obviously there's room for improvement, but yeah, man, it's at this point it's on to the next. We can't dwell on the past. I mean, we're back at home in front of our crowd. You know, it's going to be crazy because of who they are. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that energy should be enough, well, to help get back on the right track.
Yeah. No, you right on that. You know, you said you got the tail of the tape. You can see what we did wrong, how we can improve, as long as they do. You know, as long as they improve and don't let, like what Mike said about, you know, the Kansas getting in your head. It's already going to be in the head.
Right.
Because it is Kansas. No matter if they ranked or not, it's Kansas. And they typically always ones on top. So, you know, I get what you're saying, Mike. You know, I get that. And, you know, leaving that behind, and moving on. It's that it needs to be that the mentality that they need to have is the NCAA tournament mentality, the survive and advance. Right now, they're not playing with that mentality of survive and advance because on it's just like football, any given Sunday, anything can change. And they let somebody come back from 23 points down and win. They let up on it. They fouled too much. They got complacent. And again, they thought it was in the bag, like a lot of people thought it was in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't assume that. You can't assume that with anybody because it's a game of momentum. And that momentum can change with anything, a quick foul, a charge, a block that wasn't really a block, but you can't let that take you out your game. And I think that took them out of their game a little bit. And, I think we're only like a 77% overall free throw shooting team. So that's not going to be our strength for whatever. But, again, Grill being the number one hitter for this game, he had 24 points. He can do it when he gets open, but when he's flustered, he's not the guy. Osuni, my man, you gotta be that guy. It's your wingspan, with you being the center, you gotta command that. You gotta let the offense has to come through you. You come down there with that force, and then if you don't got it, then you kick that ball back out. But some of the plays I think gotta run through him, but I don't know if he's that guy. I don't know if I trust it fully. He has the potential. He can score. He can do that. But this system is a new system for him. We talked about this. This system is a lot different for a lot of these guys. Grill's coming back into this system after leaving for a while, transferring and coming back. But this system is a little bit new for these guys. And, it's, those, like we talked about, those first 10 games didn't mean nothing. Those weren't conference games. Those were, not buffer games, but they were buffer games. They were trying to get you ready for the season, get ready for conference play. And we looked ready for conference play, but right now we're in a little slump. So, like you said, Brent, leave it behind, start anew, refresh. So hopefully these boys can do that.
Yeah, we're well into the season now. We're pretty good into the conference. And I mean, we're not trying to sound like that, but the losses that we had in conference, me and Mike Nurse and that team, like they had to take those games from us. In overtime, this is not going to be, a walk in the park. And what was his name, Mike? Walls, Jacque Walls, I think that's his name. And he had to have a hell of a overtime and a hell of a game to beat us up there in Colorado. When we lost the first or the second one. Of the ones that we lost, we weren't giving those games away. We knew the importance of it because once we got to the end of the conference, to be the champions outright, we had some tough opponents that was coming in. We had to beat Oklahoma, we had to beat Oklahoma State. We had some tough teams, Texas, that had to come into our place, and we were fortunate enough to get them at home at the end of the season. So we knew how important those first games were. And we weren't giving you nothing. We were locking in from the top to the bottom, from the beginning of the game to the end. And that's the mentality that we had. For it to be a new system, listen, these are high-level athletes that you would assume have the aspiration to be pros on the next level, whatever it is, the NBA, overseas, whatever. There's a lot of money to be made. And if they're preparing for that, systems change quickly. So to be where we're at right now in the Big 12, to have the winless Texas Tech on the ropes by 23 points and to lose that game was definitely disheartening. The game against Missouri, I don't understand, like, where that even come from? Who thought it was a good idea to have teams in the Big 12 and teams in the SEC play each other dead in the heat of their conference play? Yeah, I mean, what's the point of that? The guy from TCU, the guard from TCU ended up hyperextending in his knee. Thankfully, he didn't tear anything because I thought that was ACL all day, the way it hyperextended. But he's playing, not that you want anyone to get hurt, period. But while we're in conference, I'd rather, something happen during conference than playing out of conference for a game that's, right. It's not going to make a difference one way or the other. And then if you lose the game, Now we're dealing with that. You know, you giving them a big quad 1 win, and now we got a quad 1 loss, and I got to worry about it's just it just wasn't a good idea at all.
That should be earlier in the year. That should be like that thing,
Exactly.
like them tournaments at
Yeah,
Thanksgiving
10, yeah.
time. That should be around there, a holiday thing before you get into the con. You were 100% right on that, because that kind of took the wind out of the sails, because had that game not happened, our momentum would have been, possibly better.
Right.
But it's neither here nor there. We can't say if it would have happened, if it wouldn't have happened, but you can add a lot of things to the speculation and that speculation on there. So, but we got 8 games in February left, 1 game in March, and then the Big 12 championship. So I'm optimistic. They still got a lot of games left, a lot of conference play. So happy for them boys. Hopefully they do some things. So
Sure.
but as we as we close out this episode, it's a little longer episode. We had a couple of different guests. Mike, you want to say anything as we close out?
Well, I'll make a comment on this team, this current Cyclone team, and the Texas Tech loss is it's a bad. There's no way to sugarcoat this loss. That it's a bad loss.
Mhm.
You're at the top of the Big 12, right? You're gonna continue to be. You would be 7-2.
Yeah.
You'd be 7-2 right now at the top of the Big 12. You win that game that you are up 23. We have to find a way to not only get past that, but to thrive after that. Because let me tell you, we got some motherfuckers coming up. Like we got to go to Texas. We still have TCU at home, which TCU is an excellent team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where you play them.
Yeah.
Like even if they don't have Mike Miles, that is still a formidable roster.
Yeah.
We still have to go to Baylor. We have some games. We have some opportunities, but then again, we have some games that, listen, if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, it could be night out. Like you could be knocked out before we get into the second half. That's how good this conference is.
Yeah.
The Big 12 for the last 4 years, maybe even 5, has been the best conference in America, and it doesn't really get the kudos that it deserves on how good this team. This conference is way better than any other conference in America, and I guarantee you, it is not even close.
Yeah.
But that's been for the last, I want to say 4, maybe 5 years. These guys have an opportunity, right? And we couldn't talk this until this year. An opportunity to win the regular season. And we have to find a way. And I know we're limited offensively, but we have to find a way to make it happen. Like Marcus was talking about, what we did. And I know I'm biased, but in the last 5 minutes of games, teams didn't really have a chance against us. We beat Kansas at home. We were unranked. I don't know why we were unranked, but at the time we were unranked and they were a ranked opponent. And Roy Williams said in the last 5 minutes of the game, they just handled us. They took it over the last 5 in the winning time. That's what this team needs to develop, because they've been able to win, but they don't have, all right, it's the last 5 minutes of the game. We're going to turn the screw on defense, and our offense, we'll see what happens with our offense. But our defense is not going to allow these guys to get open shots.
Right.
We're going to rebound the ball. We were the smallest team in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
The smallest. We started 3 guards. Stevie was converted from being our 3 to our 4. Marcus was our 4, then he was our 5. Martin Rantic hurt himself, was never the same. You know, Paul Shirley had a fracture in his leg again, and it happened against Texas, right? So we had the smallest team, and we had to find a way. And damn it, we found a way. This team, because they have the good size, they don't have the monster inside. Like you guys want Orsini to do more. He is not Pfizer. He's not Pfizer.
Yeah, he's not a big body. He's not that big body Benz. I get it.
No, he's not someone that you can just who's gonna lead he's not someone who's going to just get out there and get you a bucket when you need it. Let's say they don't have a Tinsley, right, who could create when all else fails, right? But they have to find a way in those last 5 minutes of games. If Iowa State in the year of 2000 was within striking distance, 5 minutes left, that other team was in trouble. And the only teams that got away from us was Oklahoma, Michigan State, and
Colorado.
Colorado. Like Marcus said earlier, Jacque Walls had 42, and he was doing we couldn't even breathe anymore, and he was like a wizard out there, right? But in the last 5 minutes, those guys have to find a way through hell or high water to be able to pull these victories out. That's how you win the conference.
Yeah.
The last 5 minutes of games. That's what Kansas does on a consistent basis. Last 5 minutes of the game, they're going to get it done. And if they don't get it done, we're shocked, right? We look around like, what's wrong? Kansas loses 3 games in a row. They're like, oh my God, what's wrong with Kansas?
Yeah.
Like, I've never heard of that before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every team goes through that.
Yeah.
But generally not Kansas.
It's new for him. But hey, listen to that, State. He's dropping knowledge on you. So we got some things to do. As Brent always say, let's get it. Let's get it. But before we close, though, I do want to say, so the football schedule for next year was leaked, but then it came out today. But I want to pick out three games I want to tell people about. The October 7th game, TCU, is the Jack Trice Legacy game. That is the culmination of the 100th anniversary. Some special things going there. I can't reveal everything, but be on the lookout for that. That's October 7th, the day before the anniversary of his death. Cincinnati and BYU, we play at both of those. I'm probably going to go to the Cincinnati game because my homeboy played for the Natty. And so now that they in our conference, finally, I'm probably going to try to go to that game because that's right down the street from home. BYU, I don't know if I'll go to that one, but we got some games, some new meat on our schedule. So looking forward to next year's season. Looking forward to finishing this basketball season out. Looking forward to 3 Beers not canceling us. Looking forward to Rebelton and Brown Dogs continuing to be our sponsors and sending us some more sauce and some more whiskey and bourbon. I'm going down there on, I don't know what you're doing, Brent, but on Thursday the 23rd, I think we're gonna go down there with me and Ship. I'm gonna go down there and talk with
February.
Them. Yep, February, this next month.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're gonna go down there. But appreciate everybody listening to us. Appreciate you getting on there. So I'm not letting you talk no more because you keep going forever.
But that football, let me say this: that schedule is a fucking nightmare.
It is horrible. I'm scared. That's why I didn't want to get into it.
We don't need him.
That's why
We don't need him saying
quick,
that. We don't need him
that
saying
schedule
that.
is a fucking nightmare. I looked at that shit. I was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, Oklahoma,
ugly.
Oklahoma State and fucking Texas. It's 3 straight weeks.
It's ugly. Ugly. I mean, I'm glad they put Kansas at homecoming, but they beat us last year. So it's like,
right.
It's like they got a football team now. Like we ain't never talking about
sheesh.
Kansas City no football team, but this is ugly.
That schedule is a nightmare. 4 out of 5 weeks. Iowa, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Texas.
Yeah.
Excuse me. then
TCU
after that.
TCU before Texas.
Yeah, TCU. Excuse
Yeah.
me. Yeah, the runners up.
Yes. Yeah. It's gonna be and that's a legacy game. They would have put that game on the game I'm going back for to represent the family, and they would have put us against TCU for that game. Why couldn't they put like Ohio on that game? Like I know it's later in the season, but man. But yeah, that's a tough schedule next year. So I hope these boys prepare. We have been getting a couple commits coming through. So we got a couple 4-stars this year. So hopefully these boys is ready. We need a lot more. We got some growing to do, but we got time. And Campbell on the road right now.
I just 4 games. That's a nightmare.
Campbell on the road. He doing his thing. He on the road getting us some people. So
I hope.
yeah. But again, thanks to Three Beards, thanks to our sponsors. This is Side of Storm. Thank you to our guests for getting on. Marcus, Brent, you got anything y'all want to say before we close out?
Go Cyclones.
That's it, man. Cyclone Nation, baby.
Cyclones forever. Hey, we will holler at y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.